How's it going, my Comicchatauthority? We're here today with Laurie Calcaterra, the writer for Path of the Pale Rider. How you doing, Laurie?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back on, Cody. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, last time we talked, you was right in the middle of a campaign for issue one, and
Yeah.
that was a year ago. So what have you
Yes.
been doing in the year
Uh,
we haven't spoke?
yeah. We're on issue number 4. So we've been making comics. It's been a good ride. So we're going to be launching our 4th Kickstarter on Monday, September 18th. Marco is still the main artist, and then we also have a new colorist who came on board for last issue. So there's 3 of us now. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rounding out pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's not that Marco can't color because he does, and he does a really good job. It's just that we wanted to move a little quicker. Our pace has been like 2 comic books a year. We're trying to get to like 3 and 4 comic books a year if we can. So the way that we did that is to delegate some of the art. So
Makes
Marco
sense.
draws and inks, Matt colors, and I ink. Not ink, I letter. I'm all over
Sweet.
the place tonight. I need something to drink, apparently. Right?
Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, is issue four done?
It's not. The way that we run our production is we get as far as we can, and then we Kickstarter for the remaining pages. So we're like a third of the way in. I usually release the first like 4 pages
Hmm.
so people can see what interiors look like and where the story picks up, stuff like that. But so it's not complete, but someday that's how I would like to run, is be like 1 issue ahead. You just can't always
Mhm.
afford that.
Oh yeah. Um, do you want to give them the pitch to the book if people haven't seen
Sure.
your first interview?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Path of the Pale Rider, it's a Western apocalypse series. So if you like books or you like properties like Book of Eli, The Walking Dead, spaghetti westerns, and Cocaine Bear, that pretty much, yeah, you heard me right. That all that together is Path of the Pale Rider. So in this world, death has been broken. So your body can die, but your solar energy doesn't leave upon death. So people, animals, insects, we're all kind of stuck here together. And they go insane because their brain is literally rotting in their skull. So it kind of mimics like a dementia descent, but in fast forward. And of course, it just depends on how you die. It hits everybody differently. So people can get forgetful, they can get violent, detached. They just, it hits them all differently, becomes very chaotic. So issue 1, we start 10 years into that apocalypse, and we're following kind of the last cowboy who still gives a damn, looking for the answer of, why the dead no longer die. So he's in the wild, and he meets, he does some things. He's not, he had no sleep. So that's his, the thing that happened in the issue. And then he makes some bad decisions and wakes up this giant undead bear. And then there's consequences to that. But you find out kind of what he's doing. Issue number 2, he goes to this town called Santa Claus, which is a real place in Arizona. And I found out there isn't a Santa Claus, Indiana, I want to say, because I was like, oh, it's in Arizona. They're like, no, it's in Indiana. People from Indiana were very adamant about telling me there's a town called Santa Claus, but he's the one in Arizona. Okay. And so he goes to this town and he's dealing with the people that are there, and they're just as dangerous as anything else. It's like no matter where you go in this world, it's a rough place. He picks a fight in a bar, so we have this great saloon brawl, and then consequences. There's consequences. Issue 3, we actually time jump back to the day that Death went missing. So you get to start at the beginning and kind of experience it as Jude St. Clair gets to experience it, and you get to see how like society falls apart real quick when like food becomes a problem. The undead become a problem. Government kind of oversteps like they probably would. And they create all these extra rules, and then they're separating living and undead, and then there's riot. There's just it's a mess, right? And then something big happens at the end. We're not going to say what, and that kind of gives you an idea of what puts Jude on his path. But we cut it off right when that big thing happens. So issue 4, where we're going next, is we pick up from that big event, and so you're going to have to see how Jude and his family deal with what happened, and then it leads into everything burns down. I've said since the beginning, don't get attached to any of my characters. We kill pretty much everybody, so
That's what they did. That's what they said about The Walking Dead.
yeah, yeah. It's like Walking Dead, George R.R. Martin. Like, don't get attached.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, if Hollywood called and wanted to make a movie, who would you cast as your? What'd you say his name was?
Jude St. Clair.
Yeah,
Who would play Jude?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought long and hard about that, and actually, Scott Eastwood.
Okay.
So it ties into the whole spaghetti western Clint Eastwood lineage, but he's sarcastic. Jude St. Clair, if you read some of the issues, he double talks. One of his family members is deaf, so he knows how to use sign language to communicate, but he's hearing. So like in issue number 2, when he's playing a poker game and picking a fight, he's smack talking to people with sign language. So he's saying one thing with his mouth, and he's like doing like bullshit with his hands and stuff like that. It's just really funny. So that's who he is. So I need someone who's like witty, handsome, the athletic, because it's very much an action series. And then, you know, with that Clint Eastwood kind of look, I think Scott Eastwood could pull it off. I don't know. What do you think? Who would you put there?
Let's see. I can't think of his name. What's that guy that played in R.I.P.D. with Ryan Reynolds?
The old guy?
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe. I think he would
It's
be.
a little younger than that. It's a good look. If we could get someone that's scruffy,
Yeah.
you know, it'd have to be someone scruffy in the apocalypse, but still has like a rugged, handsome look, please.
Maybe like a Brad Pitt or a Matt Damon.
I don't know. I'm gonna be super picky about anybody in that role. You can name like my favorite actor, and I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe Chris Evans could do it. He's kind of quirky, but he doesn't have the Clint Eastwood look to him.
Right. So, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, as a thought, give you a random.
Random, throw a rando in there.
Yeah, and nobody asks when you're adult. What's your favorite color?
Red. Yes,
Okay.
always red. Red looks good on me. Red is the color of blood and gore and all the fun stuff in my comic book. So yes, red all the way.
Is issue 4 going to be out before the end of the year?
We're hoping so. I'm putting the delivery date in January just because the holidays are coming, and I know like me and my team can get it done, but can I get it printed and delivered before the end of the year? I don't know. It just depends on what's on my printer's plate. There's just a lot of moving parts. So if we can get it done before the end of the year, that would be great. That would be the goal. But I promised it in January just to make sure, you know, we get enough time. I would hate to be like someone's thorn in their side over Christmas. Be like, sorry, you can't visit. You have to finish.
Right. Or shipping. Shipping would be.
Let's go. Oh yeah, and then competing with holiday shipping. Yeah, that would be so many lost packages. I would prefer people to get their stuff instead of it's in Timbuktu, chilling on the other side somewhere. Where is it going?
Where's the furthest you sent a comic book?
Canada. I had someone order from the UK, but it ended up being such a it's really complicated with like VAT tax and getting a VAT tax number and how to maintain that because there's monthly fees. I'm just not sophisticated enough to be shipping internationally, but Canada, I can do to Canada. So I've shipped a few times to Canada. Yeah, so I can do that.
See, we ran into a problem. We had to ship, like, it was like 3 pallets of books. And if we shipped it, we had to pay sales tax. But if they came and picked it up, we didn't. It was really
Yeah.
weird because it was coming from Florida to Washington State.
Yeah.
That
So
was
they
really
came
weird.
and they picked it up from Florida?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's some of the stuff they do here is really
Well,
strange.
I mean, that would probably be a big savings if it's 3 pallets of books.
Yeah.
That'd be worth the plane ticket. I don't know. Rent a car, drive it back.
Or a box
Uh-huh.
truck. That would,
Yeah,
I
three
think it would
pallets
take you 10 days to do it.
from Washington State. Good lord.
Can you imagine?
Whew.
That would be awful.
Well, I guess, I mean, you could write off a vacation.
Yeah.
You go on vacation, tax deductible. There you go.
You're in Texas, right?
Yes, yes, I am. Yep.
So what cons do you have planned?
I didn't get to do as many this summer as I wanted. So, like Dallas Fan Expo is the big one every year. Marco got to go. I was in Michigan standing up for my brother's wedding. So over the summer, I missed a few, but there's Cowtown in Fort Worth is a couple days. That's September 30th and October 1st. I'll be there. We're going to, both Marco and I are going to be at Arlington Fan Days, and that's the following weekend, the 7th and the 8th. We're going to make a couple appearances at Geek Out in Burleson. We're going to be there on the 24th, signing books and hoping people will sign up for the Kickstarter. And then I think Geek Out is having a grand opening of another store. They're in Burleson now, but they're opening a second location in Arlington. So we're going to probably show up for their grand opening just because they're good people. They deserve any kind of press they can get. They're great. We love them.
Are you in comic shops in Texas yet?
Yeah, I am in a few. I'm in Titan, I'm in Pastime, I'm in Geek Out. Those are the three I've been working on. I need to do more of that. It's just finding the time. I am in a store in Michigan, Gotham Knights in Michigan. He's wonderful. Fergal Amayo owns that store. And when I was in town for my brother's wedding, I actually did a book signing while I was there. And he always has my books on his shelf. He's reordered a few times because he keeps selling out.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you tried to solicit it to any publishers?
I'm with Charter Comics is my publisher currently. I have pitched to, like, and everybody pitches to Image, but I feel like they get so many, pitches that it's just a chance if they read it. It's kind of like right place, right time. I pitched to Scout, I pitched to Alterna. I haven't pitched him probably since last summer, so I'm due to do it again. But Charter is going to be doing some things pretty soon, which I can't talk about yet because it's not signed, but there are some things coming with Charter, so keep an eye out for them.
I'm gonna have to look into them. I haven't heard of Charter before.
They're local to Texas, but like myself, Richard Dury with Orphan Bloodline, Paul Gomez was with them at one point. I think he's with ASAP Imagination. I'm also on Any One World. ASAP Imagination is the publisher in the UK, and so they will print and publish your books. But since I'm already with Charter, they do a digital distribution for me. So people in the UK can purchase Path of the Pale Rider and download it immediately and spend their own currency instead of having to, pay in US dollars or, have it changed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. ASAP Imagination does a lot of really cool stuff. You should check them out too. But they have their own like flagship world. I want to say they have a couple of different people writing stories in that world. And then there's the Any One World, which is like myself and all these other indies that just are there. It's a digital. They probably would compete with like an Image. They probably don't have as much as Image, but they're close. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of Image.
Image is great. I mean, that's honestly how I got into comics, is reading Image. titles. I mean, right? Let's be honest, they're way better than a lot of the legacy stuff because you get one writer, you get a lot more character development. You can get things that are more adult, like The Walking Dead and Saga and Fables and Invincible, and they have so many different things that are just amazing, amazing. Black Science. I mean, I can just name off a ton of them. They're just amazing. So that's where I spend most of my time reading when I have time to read, or reading indie because now it's like now that I'm in indie and I know other indie creators, I'm supporting a lot of other indie creators, right? So a lot of indie.
So, as an indie creator, can you have you traded your book for another indie creator's book?
Yes, actually, here's what is very common. So on a Kickstarter, my first kind of stretch goal is an indie comic bundle. So PDFs, right? So I'll say, hey, we can cross promote for your stretch goal. Here's a free copy of my PDF that you can leverage. And then they give me a copy of theirs. So it's like I think I have 15 indies. Yeah, I have 15 indies in my first stretch goal, which is so cool because you can back a $5 level on a Kickstarter and then you get 16 freaking comics digitally. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So and everybody wins because the reader wins because they get 16 comics. I win because hey man, you're backing my project. And then all the other creators win too because you might find something, my readers might find something else in that bundle that they really like. And it's so diverse. It's like there's horror, there's comedy, there's, fantasy. There's so many things in there. And I had just indie creators coming out from, I don't know, all sorts of woodwork coming out just everywhere. Being like, hey, Laura, I'd love to, give you a copy of my PDF. Some of them were like, here's my whole collection. And I'm like, no, we're only doing number ones. Like, you're not giving me 14 PDFs. That's not fair to you. It's
Right.
like, just do your first one. After that, if they like it, they'll come and, have to pay you for it. That's the whole point, is to send you people, not to get your whole collection for free.
Yeah, right. What social medias are you on? Where can people find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere. We have a Facebook group that's kind of the hub. That's where it gets like the most attention. I drop everything there first. Plus, you can put pictures. We do polls. We play games. There's a lot of shenanigans in the Facebook group. Facebook group is just called Path of the Pale Rider. All you have to do is answer one question to get in, which is, do you like comics? It keeps the scammers out because if they don't answer, I don't let them in. Right. So then there's an Instagram, there's a TikTok. Both of those are at Path of the Pale Rider with an underscore between all the words, which is super annoying, but it's there. Twitter, it's at Path Pale Rider. So we're there. Threads, it's I think at Path of Pale Rider. I think it's Path Pale Rider. It's the same. I have a website, www.pathofthepalewriter.com. So again, if we're not campaigning and we're not, there's no active Kickstarter to like get past copies at a discount, my website is always there, and I will always ship people a copy of whatever I have in inventory. I always have a cover, so whatever Marco, his main cover, I always have those in stock. The variants will sometimes go out of print. I still have variants of 2, and of course I have variants of 3 because that just printed last month. So yeah, people should grab those while they're hot because once the variants are gone, I usually don't reprint them unless it's on a special occasion.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Oh yeah, wait, before we go, Path of the Pale Rider also does shenanigans. So at the back of every cover, we have a riddle. Here's the riddle for 3. It's a bunch of QR codes that lead you to all different places, and one of them is bonus content for Path of the Pale Rider. So every cover has a riddle to solve. So if you want to find additional content or interact with characters or race to the answer against other riddle solvers, that's an option. And we also do short films, which are fan interactive. So I always run a short film, and this is great because the fans kind of steer which way those go. So they're helping to create the world of Path of the Pale Rider. And I let people either do video or still frame. So you could like this next coming short film, people are sending me selfies like you did, and I
Yeah.
zombify them, and they're going to end up in the short film. So there's ways for you to see and put yourself in the world, which is a lot of fun. We do that just for fun. It doesn't cost any. It's not a stretch goal. It's not in a. It's just we do it because it's great, and I'm having fun doing it. So heck
All
yeah.
right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me on again. I really enjoy your show. I watch your show. I'm always paying attention to your shenanigans online too. And Florida man stuff is hilarious. So I'm happy
Oh
to.
yeah, good old Florida man.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comic Chat Authority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.